especially in the formal socio-political space, has become more important every day. Many are of the opinion that citizens, especially youths and women, need to become more involved in political parties. They need to become more involved in parliament, in political appointments and elections, in the civil space. Even the Constitution makes it clear that we all have roles to play if we must have a good society. So it is not just enough to elect a brilliant or maybe a honest president or governor or even a local government chairman, and then we all go to sleep and think that that guarantees good governance. That alone guarantees good governance. Citizen participation is seen in some quarters as maybe a social contract of essence in democracy. It is the heart of the matter, which makes it the government of the people, by the people, and for the people. And it must also be stated that participation in governance takes many forms: voting, payment of tax, maybe helping out, asking questions, speaking up, holding to account public officers, and so many. And so on Insight today, we will stay on this, on the need for increased citizen participation in governance. And I have as a guest who has been here several times before, but it's been long that we've had her on Insight. Honorable Abiodun Eshet is back on Insight. Good morning, Honorable.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Yes, Honorable Abiodun Eshet is a development consultant. She's a grassroots mobilizer. She's also a politician. Once again, welcome to Insight.
Thank you.
And so, you can join our live stream on YouTube as usual. You type in Citizen FM 93.7. and you will be part of the show from any part of the world. You can also listen to us online on www.citizenfm.ng, and not forgetting that you can follow us on our social media platforms: on Facebook at Citizen FM Abuja, on Instagram at Citizen FM 937, and also on Twitter at Citizen FM 937. So that's how it's going to be. How do we encourage, how do we increase citizens' participation in governance? And once again, as I said, my guest is Honorable Abiodun Eshet, a development consultant, a grassroots mobilizer, and most importantly, a politician. So, Honorable Eshet, let's get straight into it. Getting the electorate involved, where do we start from?
Okay, thank you very much. So I think it all starts from lending our voice to the process, electoral process, governance, because democracy is all about the people. It's a government of the people, by the people, and for the people. So the people are the critical, concept of democracy, about giving the dividend of democracy back to the citizens. So the people are the core nucleus of democracy, how the people are having their voice. And it is also based on human rights, respecting the voice of the people, and also respecting human rights in terms of participation and inclusion in governance. Now, democracy is beyond voting. Most, majorly people believe democracy is all about going out there, casting your vote, and once that is done, you can go to sleep. But democracy is beyond voting, because democracy has some true value, has some things that democracy wants to add to the system of government, has some, thematics that has to be involved in democracy, the rule of law, respect to rule of law, different angles to democracy. So beyond just casting your vote and supporting a candidate or showing your voting power, adding your voice to the electoral process, you also need to hold decision makers accountable to what they have been elected to do. Following up with the manifesto of each elected officials. Okay, you have said this during your campaign, and how are you making sure that you are meeting up to what you said? And this is what currently is happening in the president-elect, which is the president Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, he said some few things in his manifesto, which is called renewed hope, and that's what people are holding on to now, calling his attention concerning the appointment he will be making. He said in his renewed hope that we'll get 35% inclusion of women. He also said in his renewed hope that youth will be in the focus he will focus more on the youth as well, also giving them a space in his cabinet. So we're also asking for that. Since he has said that, we are following up with everything he has said in his manifesto to make sure that he's fulfilling that. More than that, we have members of national assemblies, and there are times that they call for public hearing, where members of the public can also participate in whatever is going on at the National Assembly. And it's a way to also understand, to pass for citizens to get involved in the governance and elections. So, it's about following up what's going on in the National Assembly, what kind of laws, what kind of policies are they writing, or are they approving, or are they passing motion on? And, citizens also, their voices are being heard through the members of civil society organizations. So civil society also represent the voice of the citizen, making sure they hold government accountable, like the watchdog to the government. But more importantly, Nigeria signed up into Open Governance Partnership, which is in 2016 by President Muhammadu Buhari. It's a platform that promotes accountability and transparency. And with this platform, Nigeria signed in with other members of civil society organizations at the national level, because Open Governance Partnership shows it is a platform that brings together the government and also members of civil society to work together to promote the interests of citizens. So for Nigeria to be accepted into Open Governance Partnership at the global level, they had equal numbers of members of civil society that were working with them to make sure that, Nigeria is committed to transparency and accountability. And that was the only basis why they were accepted into Open Governance Partnership. And we could see some of the reforms that came out of that Open Governance Partnership, like Freedom of Information Act, the Freedom of Information Decks at different ministries, and so many other things. Open contracting, some of these things are from the fact that we have joined into OGP, and Nigeria has also put up 3 action plans to show their interest in fulfilling accountability and transparency at that level. So we have open contracting. Any contract that's been awarded at the federal level will be on the site, and for citizens to be able to track and say, what is the progress of this contract? Who is the contractor? What's the level of the job? So that's also a major way citizens can participate. And with the platform of Open Governance Partnership, it gives citizen voice to be able to call into action whatever they need from their government agency, and also follow to the letter everything that is within a contract or within a government agency, within the mandate of the government agency, to make sure that they fulfill their mandate as government agency. And also, so many government institutions also do a whole lot of town hall meetings. They have different platforms open for citizens to also call their attention into anything. So for AMAC, for instance, they have different social media groups, they have WhatsApp groups, they have Twitter handle, where citizens can reach out to them on whatever issues that they're having in their constituency, in their community, or in their villages. And, regular town hall meetings are also a key part that citizens can, get involved in government issues. When government agency, like for instance, when we're doing the constitutional review in the Ninth Assembly, they went around the different geopolitical zone to also get input from different institutions and stakeholders on what they want to change in the 1999 Constitution. And that was the basis for the amendment that was done during the Ninth Assembly. There were different consultations at different levels. So there are different platforms. Citizens can have their voice. I've talked about the open contracting website. There is Open Freedom of Information Act, so many other platforms that have been developed based on the fact that Nigeria signed into Open Governance Partnership.
You have virtually just covered a lot on this, but these fears, this apprehension that we sometimes have that, Nigerians, especially the citizens, are not really involved in governance issue. Is it a Nigerian situation, or is it a global phenomenon that citizens across the world do not necessarily feel interested in governance?
I don't think it's a global issue because from my experience in other, studying in other global developed world, there's a really different scenario over there than what you see in Nigeria. So what you see most importantly in Nigeria, which is a little different from the last general election, is the fact that when you see people after election, people go back and sit and relax and watch and wait for the next election before they can get involved. And then, but like I said, with the platform like Open Governance Partnership, it has given citizen priority. But still, most citizens don't even know Nigeria signed to Open Governance Partnership. Even AMAC as a local government has also signed up, into it. So it's also a platform. So I think it's a Nigerian thing, and I think we need to change our perspective about how do we get involved, and most importantly, how do we get involved even with the closest level of governance with us? That's the local level. A lot of people don't even know who their chairman is, and every month allocation comes from the federal government to all the 774 local governments in Nigeria, some through their states, which will be disbursed to the various LGAs, and also for Abuja, it also comes like that straight into their account. Money are being given out. Nobody is holding any agency or any chairman or any councillor or any chairman responsible that, okay, you collected this social amount of money. You are also getting revenues because local governments also collect revenues. You're also getting revenues. What are you doing with it? Can you report back to, because government, we should change the perspective of how governance is. And, there's a feeling that people are there. We are now praising the elected official for what they are supposed to do because they are using taxpayers' money. So it should be the other way around. They should be, we should hold them accountable, not the way about praising them when they are doing what they are supposed to do as a government institution. They are supposed to do what they are supposed to do, and we don't have to praise them because that's why they are there. And we should reduce the value we attach to elected officials. And that's the reason that's given up to corruption use. When an elected official gets into office, he believes he's all in all. He believes he can do whatever he wants to do. It shouldn't be like that. We should hold them accountable, and there should be limitations to how far they can exceed their power. So unlike other developed world, people, they will talk about my mayor, my councillor. A lot of them talk about, because they are closer to what is happening at the local level. You can't, I was in Canada, and before the local council, the mayor could pass any contract, he has to call the citizen on board to be on the table and say, this is the complaint that we are giving on this contract. They will do an interview with them, and everybody knows what is going on. And the list of those contractors are published on the local council board for everybody to say, okay, query. And there are times given for members of the public to query whatever is happening at the mayor's office and all that. But, you don't see more of that. How many people talk about their chairman? How many people even know who they are? How many people talk about their councillors? How many people know who they are? So how do you want, governance to function when we're not connected to it, when we're not holding even the closest level of governance, when we're not holding them to accountable? But if you ask them, do you know the president of this Nigeria? Everybody will say yes. Do you know who the senator is? They will say yes. But now go down to who are your state assembly members, who are your local council chairmen. You won't get any answer.
Okay, let's look at the flip side. You've spoken a lot about the governance issue. Let's look at the politics, getting people interested in politics, partisan politics, the way it is in Nigeria. A lot of people have this belief, politics is a dirty game. I don't want to be involved because of you are a politician, and you've also, you are also an activist. So what does it take for citizens to be actively involved in politics?
It's a simple thing, to be a partisan politician, you just have to join a political party. Basically, that's it. And also contributing your own, role by, being regularly attending their meetings. And you can go to another level by also campaigning to be an executive member in your constituency, in your ward, or in your unit, or in your state, and say, okay, I want to serve as this and all that. So it's easier for people to get. But, we have left politics for people have big, citizens, some, people, just few set of people that they feel, let me just go into politics since I couldn't get any other thing to do. But it shouldn't be like that. If you really want to change the narrative, because people were querying the primary elections of the major political party, well, with just 2,000 people decide for us who we are going to vote for. But it's all about, you joining. You've been on the fence ever since, and you can't change anything if you're on the fence. So, you could be partisan politicians. So, okay, join a political party and protect your interests. Or you can also start the movement by making sure your political party has an ideology. What ideology do we stand for? Most of the political parties may not really have that ideology, but now things are being, we are changing that narrative. Based on the last election, a lot of political parties are now pushing for different things. Like APC was pushing for a renewed hope, based on the fact that they want inclusion and transparency. That forms their ideology. Progress as a progressive party, they want to be progressive in everything they do, and that's as form an ideology. People can come into political parties at different levels as a volunteer and any other way, but at least get into the system and get into the structure, because if you're not there, they will decide who you are going to vote for in the future, and your take will not be captured.
One of the things also talking about things that may discourage some people from getting actively involved. One of the things you hear is that, politics is for people who have money. The system has been monetarized. The process has been taken over by big money bags and the rest of the thing. And more importantly, political parties also are not very good at adhering to the rules of the game. These are some of the things that could really discourage a lot of people.
Yeah, but when you are there, you'll be able to change. But you can't change anything when you're not there. And that's what we are doing at our own level. For now, we've done into politics, and we have a track record of what we have done about, promoting transparency and making sure that deals are done properly, and also maintaining a value. I'm one of the people that champions politics with value. Joining politics with a value and morals and integrity, with humanity at heart, and say, no, this is it. And for us as a gender activists, we also promote inclusion of women. Say, okay, we can't be in this space if you cannot also not include women in the scope of the election. Politics is dirty. Every other business is also dirty. But the level of dirtiness is what we don't know. But politics is dirty is what people have used to shy away people from, kick away people from that space. And so, politics is dirty. Every other thing, if you think deep, some other businesses are also dirty. But it's about how do you manage that? How do you change the narrative? So we are trying to change the narrative of politics by us joining into, I've been into civil society space for long, and I crossed over into politics based on the fact that we need to change some narrative politically, and that's what we are doing. So we want more people who have integrity at heart, who has the interests of Nigeria at heart, to join politics and see how they can change the narrative within that sphere. Because, people, I'm telling you, politicians respect integrity. They respect value. They expect when you change things. Now, for subsequent elections, it's going to be a new ball game, because now people are being heightened to understand that it's all about development. It's all about what you're bringing to the table. Some governors may not have won their second term if they have not start showing people, this is what we did for the first time, this is what we hope to do next time. Now people are being, enlightened. People are now aware, this is what the government's supposed to do. And that's what it should be, holding them to account and say, this is what you're supposed to do, and try and do this. And everybody tracking their own record of progress, making sure that they're doing what they're expected to do. That's it. So, politics is gradually changing, and it's time for, new people with new perspective, with new ideas and brighter knowledge to join politics at different level. And when you're humble in the process of your joining, and ready to serve, and say, this is a better way of doing this, you will be captured, you'll be involved. Because right now, a lot of, in the next general election, things are going to change. Because the politician will not fill in people who don't have integrity, who have not done anything. Because with the third force that we had, people are now asking critical questions about, no, this is who a president should be, this is who our representative should be, we want to hold them accountable, we want them to do this. So things are gradually changing.
All right, if you're just joining us, it's Insights on Citizen FM 93.7, and we've been discussing citizens' participation in governance. My guest has been Abiodun Eshet, who is a development consultant, a grassroots mobilizer, and a politician. Insight will take a short break, and when we return, we will talk a lot about some other issues. Please don't go away. Insight will be back in a moment.
Looking for the best in news updates?
Yeah, man.
Listen to Citizen FM 93.7 Abuja.
Now listen.
News on the hour, 7 a.m., 8 a.m., 9 a.m., 10 a.m., and 11 a.m. 1 p.m., 2 p.m., 3 p.m., and 5 p.m. News at noon, 12 noon. News from across the states, 4 p.m. And our major news at 6 p.m. Citizen FM 93.7. Always precise in news broadcast. Looking for the best in news updates?
Yeah, man.
Listen to Citizen FM.
Thank you so much for staying tuned. It's still Insights on Citizen FM 93.7. Yes, on the other side of the program, we are discussing participation, citizen participation in governance. And my guest is Abiodun Shet, a development consultant and a grassroots mobilizer and a politician. You can still be part of the program. The phone lines are open now, 0903 29797. You can also call us on 0818-222205 or 0818-222206. Any of those numbers. You can also send us a WhatsApp message and we will be glad to read your message. Just let us know where you're writing in from. The numbers again, 0903 2229 797 or 0818-222205 or 0818-222206. And also you can watch us on YouTube live. Type in Citizen FM 93.7. You can also listen to us online on www.citizenfm.ng. Our social media platforms are still there on Facebook at Citizen FM Abuja, on Instagram at Citizen FM 937, and also on Twitter at Citizen FM 937. Richard, let's move to some politics now. It's been about 6 weeks of the new administration on board. Perhaps we may like to have your general overview of the administration so far.
Okay, we've started on a good part, and I think we're on the path to making sure that Nigeria is one of the leading countries in Africa, and also Nigeria is also taking its rightful position in African continent as one of the giants of Africa, as so it is. And you could see by Mr. President getting elected as a new chair for ECOWAS, it's also a path in the right direction. We have been saying Nigeria is the giant of Africa, but we have not proven that for a while now, and I think that's the path that we have taken now with what's the initiative that the Mr. President has put on board. With the removal of fuel subsidy, it has really brought about inflation and so many other things. But I feel, very soon everything will be in proper shape and other things will go back the way it should be. But first, let's allow Mr. President to do the needful. For the first time, we're having a man who is a politician, a godfather to a godfather in politics and also who is an economics, who has really done so well in his past, has background in managing, oil industry and all that, and an auditor in himself. So we have, a president who has all the necessary skills and knowledge to really change the narrative about development in this country. So let's allow him to do his best. We've seen, his track record in what he has done in Lagos State, and we are hoping he can transform Nigeria with our support and hope and trust. And I think that's important for Nigerians to trust that, yes, Nigeria is going to be great again. And, you say an American, you say, God bless America. It's not because everything is going well, but they have the faith that things are going to go well, and they believe America is great. So let's keep, if the only thing we can do is to have our faith and our hope with the fact that everything is going to work well, then we're on this right step in the right direction, because we have the necessary skill, capacity of a president with that kind of professional background, and with his perspective to economic and governance. We feel we have the right man to manage this country.
Okay. This question will come because you are a politician. I would say you're also an insider into how things are done in the political parties. Okay, the president has been making appointments and is expected to make more appointments. What is the challenge? Take us through. What is the challenge the president is facing now, appointing credible, efficient people versus rewarding loyalists? What kind of a challenge is that? How does it play out in politics?
Thank you very much for that. The two perspectives you have brought on board, rewarding loyalists and also getting things undone, is what, balancing the two is the situation that Mr. President might be facing at this moment in time. If you have, studied the track record of Asiwaju since he was governor, he has always put the best in anything he does. His cabinet then, you can see the progress they've made. Taking, for instance, Fashola was the chief of staff. He became the governor, two-time governor. He became ministers. And he has, Fashola has proven himself, even in Lagos as a governor, and now Minister of Works, Minister of Power. He has proven himself. And you see people like that. The former vice president was also in his cabinet. A lot of people that were in the cabinet that are professionals, that were sound. He knows how to get the best in anything. But now he has that issue in balance. Okay, now he's a Mr. President, he's a politician, he has to also reward loyalty member. And one of the key things about Asiwaju is about loyalty. He really gives it to that. He really respects loyalty a lot, and people know. And maybe it's his weakness also, because if you say, I've been loyal, you have captured his heart in that, because loyalty is one of the things he values a lot. So he wants to balance that, and not at the detriment of what Nigeria needs to have. At this moment, Nigeria needs the best hands to manage anything, not even within the political party structure. And I'm sure maybe the next ministerial list will be shocking to a lot of people, because, if you are good and you're in another political party, I don't have a doubt that Mr. President may bring you on board, because it's about what offer, what can you do in your history, in your experience, in your field. What have you done? If you have a stake, if you have that capability to change the narrative in your field, in whatever you are going to be positioned to have, then he will bring you on board. If he believes you can add value to his government, he will bring you on board. Not necessarily thinking about your political party background. But now he's faced with the fact that he needs to bring his members of political parties on board, and also needs to reward members of the loyalty for members of the political party who had served and also made him to win the last election. And moreover, he also wants to win the next election. So he's going to have to decide on, okay, what am I bringing on board? Does he have the capacity to deliver in the dividend of democracy we have signed up to? Does he have the capacity to also make me to win an election? Does he have that political structure? Does he have that political strength? So those are the things I'm sure Mr. President will be looking at. So he wants to perform. He is known for that. He's known that he brings the best in anything he does. And he has said it so many times. We are going to make Nigeria great, and he needs a good hand to do that. And he's not going to look at religion. He's not going to look at culture. He's not going to look at political party at this moment in time because he wants to deliver. And most importantly, he also wants to bring unity back to this country. We have 36 states in this country. He also wants to reflect that 36 state inclusion in also in his cabinet. And he has promised a lot also for women. But you know, the system is patriarchy. The whole system is patriarchy. Most of the governors we have are men. So even if the states have to submit,
all of them.
So all the governors that we have in men, you know, we were expecting Benani to be the first female governor. Now, even if states have to submit lists, you see mostly men. And you also have to bring on board other women. How do we balance that? In a way that is not going to hurt one state or one governor will not feel left out, or one state will not feel left out because she didn't bring a woman. Because every key stakeholder, major key stakeholder in most of these states are men. And now you need to bring up women. And most importantly, also the youth. The youth are also clamoring for inclusion because we also have what it takes to really change this government. It's not about our age. Really, governance is not really about age, and leadership doesn't have any characteristics about age. If you are young and you have what it takes to achieve the goal of any country or any agency, then you can be brought on board. So our age shouldn't be a barrier to his, you know, to the list he's also trying to bring up. Moreover, in his renewed Hope Manifesto, he has also ensured that, you know, women and youth will also have a place. Not just women alone, women, vulnerable women will also be captured in his cabinet. How he's going to balance that with the loyalty, with his mindset of bringing the best on the table is what he's facing with right now. But I know what to play out. He will definitely give it to the best and doesn't care what you say about it.
Well, I'm glad you brought in the issue of the youth. I remember before the signing into law of the Not Too Young to Run Act, there was this glamour that, if that is done, it's really going to do a lot in bringing in the youth. That was done, and I know that this last election we had quite a number of young people who took part in politics. But was the number really, were you satisfied with the proportion after the signing of the Not Too Young to Run Act?
Yeah, you know, the Not Too Young to Run, in the inclusion of youth, we have a major problem in the Nigerian politics, which is also finance. So, you know, that's one aspect. You know, the law has helped us to bring in more youth, but, you know, do they have that financial capability to really struggle with the men, our middle age and the older men who are also struggling for the seat? The answer is no. Most of the youth that you have seen that have gotten elected with either their father or their uncle is a rich man in one political party and has played way.
Or they have a godfather. Yeah,
or they have a godfather. So it's very few of them that you think, doesn't have that financial capability as be consistent in community development. The people trust him, and that was why they voted for him, right, or for her. So, and we, you know, right now, I think I would like to challenge also the group that also drafted the Not Too Young to Run bill to also see what has been, how has it been so far, how many youths have been elected so far, and what has been the performance of those youths. Because it's not just about the inclusion, but it's about bringing a change to the table. How has the youth parliamentarian or the youth governors or the youth assembly member or the youth chairmanship member has performed since they've been elected, so that we can even show them an evidence-based research and evidence-based result to say, see, when you employ youth that understand the system, knows what to do, this is what you have, right? Bringing innovation to the system, because they are youth are known for innovation, technological development, and so many other things. So can we show those results and say, okay, this is what we have so far since the bill has been passed? These numbers of youth that have been elected, and this is what they have been able to do while they're in office. That's important.
Well, on the flip side of that also has been those who canvass this argument that, well, maybe it's not necessarily lack of young people in governance that's our issue, and they bring out data and statistics too. A lot of our lawmakers, a lot of our governors were governors when they were in their 40s.
Yeah.
Lawmakers, speakers, we've had speakers who were in their 40s and the rest of the thing. And when they get into government, they seem to be sucked in by the system without making necessary input or difference.
Yeah, it's also some of the things I think citizens and people, stakeholders need to know. The system is also there. So I'm hoping that this administration will bring a lot of reforms in the public service and civil service so that, the system is being trusted. The system would help to make any innovation strive. Because you may have brilliant ideas, brilliant knowledge and all that. When you get to the system, you may not really perform. It may not really be the fault of the parliamentarian or the fault of the elected official. It may also be the system. How does the system promote some of this? What, leverage? What can you leverage on in the system to make you achieve what you need to achieve? And there are a whole lot of things we need to dissect within the system on how to help the system work for us. It's important. So that's one aspect that I hope the new administration will also focus on reviewing. There are so many committees report that has been done on the public service reform. I hope they can study it and also revise it for better performance.
Oh, well, it's still Insights on Citizen FM 93.7, and we are discussing getting citizens to be more interested in governance and politics. My guest is Honorable Abiodun Eshet, a grassroots mobilizer and politician, helping us to make sense of the situation. The phone lines are still open, 0903 2229 797 or 0818 2222 205. You can also call us on 0818 2222 206. You can also send us a WhatsApp message. Obeshe, let's talk about the National Assembly. I remember during the last attempt at altering the Constitution, one of the issues was the gender bill, which the Ninth Assembly did not see through, and that raised a lot of outrage, including yourself. I remember when you were on this show too, you didn't find it funny. You think this 10th Assembly, are there any plans from your constituency to maybe relaunch that?
Okay, thank you very much for that. So there are plans for us to represent the bill to the 10th Assembly and see how we go about it. But now we don't even have the numbers. For now, we have 3 senators that are women, and we have less than 10 in the House of Assembly also. So we don't have the numbers. So we are open the necessary stakeholders and the E4Gs, who are parliamentarians, who also look into, and we have approached the Senate President to also look into some of the bills that we have. The gender and equal opportunity bills have been in the Assembly for over 10 years. We're hoping to represent it based on the observation and amendment proposed by the other assemblies, and represent it back to the National Assembly. We are open, we could follow through with that and let that inclusion be done with the support of Mr. President also as well.
Okay, still talking about the National Assembly, the last election threw up a lot of issues, a lot of questions, and people were like, well, maybe we should even take a second look at our electoral laws, at how do we, are there things you feel we should revisit in our electoral laws?
Independent candidacy.
Oof, yeah.
Yeah. Could give people like us the opportunity of being elected in future to save us from internal party politics and internal party democracy and all that, to save us from patriarchy and to save us from so many things. So if you have independent candidacy, it's good. And I also feel there should be a shared government. So there's something that works in other countries, also in Africa, where no matter the ruling party, you can't have more than 50% of the seat or 50% of the position in cabinet. Other political parties are also going to share the remaining 50%. So I'm elected as APC. Everybody in my cabinet, you have 50% of my people and 50% from other political parties. Is to hold the government accountable, is to show equal representation. So, if we can review some of this, and also salaries of government officials and so many other things, we will be on the right step. So I think there are a lot of bills Nigeria as a country has signed on to or ratify, but we have failed to domesticate it in most of our states. Even the National Assembly have failed to domesticate some of this bill and ratify them. So it's for them to also look into some of the bills that have the plans to really change the narrative in our development in Nigeria, and also see how we can domesticate it in different states.
Oh, well, I'm afraid we have to leave it at that, Abiodun Eshit. We really, really appreciate your intervention on Insight. It's always a pleasure having you on the program. Thank you so much, Abiodun Eshit.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, well, that's our package on Insight. Today, my guest has been Honorable Abiodun Eshit, development consultant, grassroots mobilizer, and a politician. And we've been discussing having citizens more interested in governance and politics. Insight will return tomorrow, same time. My name is Lawrence UMOETTE. Up next is News on the Hour.